So today we're tackling the Sicily dress. This is gonna be my Christmas outfit. Let's see. So as I'm pretty sure you are all well aware, Christmas is 4 days from now, 3 days from now. I don't know when you will see this, but it's very, very close. And I wanna make a dress to wear for Christmas. And so I am going to be making today the Sicily slip dress photo inserted here. So I got this fabric, and it may not be festive, okay, but I live in a place where it's 80 degrees pretty much all year, right? So I got some fabric that has fruit on it. I think it's nice, okay? I think it's nice. And so we're gonna be making the Sicily dress. I have my two machines. You can't see, this is my serger, this is my regular sewing machine. And so I, as a first step, I read the instructions, and it said to use a zigzag stitch because when you let it rest before you have to hem the bottom, it's gonna stretch because it's cut on the bias. And so I've been fiddling with my zigzag tension because for some reason everything below a 9 on my machine makes the top thread, is it the top thread? No, makes the top thread go into the bottom. Like the bottom is, the bobbing thread is very tight and it's pulling the top thread, but I think I got it to work, but I like the toppest tension. So suggestion, practice your tension before you get to doing this, because if it's gonna stretch and your tension isn't right, it's just gonna look all wrinkly and it's not gonna look nice, okay? So we're gonna get started. I have my pattern pieces cut. I have the instructions here on my little laptop. So I'm gonna get started. Let's do it. Okay, first steps, my people. We are going to do stay stitching because why? Because fabric is a lot of threads intertwined together and it naturally stretches. So what do we do with a neckline that we don't want it to stretch and we don't want to be like all open? No, we don't want that. So we stay stitch. We create a stitch that we don't remove, that's sort of like hidden, that maintains the shape, the original shape. Okay, so I'm gonna do a little drawing on my iPad. At least I'm gonna try to. Never done it before. On like what direction you should stay stitch, but usually it's like towards the center. This is gonna take a while. I'll be back. Okay, so we're just cracking along here. So I have, wait, here we go. So I united the back facing to the back part of the dress, just hemmed the facing, sewed it together, did an understitch, just like putting the seam allowances towards the back. Now we're gonna put this bad boy together. So we got the front with this little funky B. Do you see that V? Do you see that? Yeah. So we're gonna put it together. And by putting it together here with the little V, we're gonna have to do a burrito thing. I don't know, whoever came up with the burrito method to like line clothing together and just pull it out and it's fully lined, you are a genius, and I wish I was as smart as you. So I'm gonna put both of these pieces together, just sew the sides, and then we'll talk about the burrito because I need to figure that out. We'll see how that goes. Okay, I'm gonna do that now. We are in the, at least I am, and if you're doing this along with me, then we are in the burrito phase. So here's the dress. This is the neck hole right here. These are the two facing parts. So these two are already united, as you can see here, but on this side they are not. So we are going to sew this in a way that when we turn it around, all of this armhole line throughout the facing and the actual fabric, the outside fabric, will be done. So this is how it goes. You're going to roll over the fabric towards the side that you want to work. Okay, so I want to work obviously on the side that's completely open. So I'm going to roll my fabric towards this side, okay? And now we have one part of the facing, which is the actual facing, and then the actual part of the dress. So what we do is that whichever one you have at the bottom, you're going to pull it towards the other side. That way you can sew right sides together, and in the middle you have the rest of your dress or fabric. Now we're going to sew all throughout that armhole, but we're not going to sew on what would be like the beginning of the side. Okay, so I'm gonna start pinning. It's not really difficult to do, and I think in the end it saves you a lot of time and like frustration about wanting the inside to look like at least like tidy and professional. It just makes that process easier. So one of my recommendations would be to wait, let me give me a segundo. So one of my recommendations is to take, once you pin both like the seam that's right in the corner, then you want to pin the center. So I'm gonna push both of those seams towards the back, as I think you can see there, like that, and I'm gonna pin, and just that way I can distribute each fabric that goes like towards the front and towards the back evenly. That way you just make sure it's evenly distributed. Okay, let's see that burrito flip out again. So as you can see, I sewed it together, okay? So how do we flip it out? We put our hand inside one side of the burrito, inside one side of the burrito, and you start pulling. You just start pulling out your dress. You just keep on pulling and keep on pulling until suddenly you're like, wait, what just happened? And there you go, and you get fully finished seams. Let me open it like this. You see the seam right there? And it's fully finished in a way that the seams are like hidden inside of your facing. So it's such a great idea, I gotta say. I think I'm gonna skip the next step. The next step tells you to sew the seam to the facing so that it doesn't move around, which is a great idea. But in theory, you can't even go all the way up like around the armhole because you have like a limited amount of width that you can't you can't do it, right? So since I can't really do it all the way, I'm not gonna do it. So I'm just gonna leave it like that. Now that we're done with the armhole area, we're gonna sew the sides. So the instructions say to do a French seam, and I gotta say I support that idea, because when I finished the facing, so I did a serged end. Let me put it in here. I did a serged, do you see it? And then I flipped it over and sewed just like a little 1/8 of an inch. Can you even see that? Just to understitch it so it doesn't move. And it doesn't like to get serged. This fabric doesn't. What type of fabric is this? I don't know, because I usually buy my fabrics in a place that doesn't really usually tell you what they are, but it's just a very flowy, probably polyester fabric. Since we're doing French seams, you sort of start in reverse. You're going to sew wrong sides together, and you are going to sew, how much does it say here? 1/4 of an inch. 1/4 of an inch. And after you're done with that 1/4 of an inch, you're gonna trim away part of that seam allowance, and then you're gonna put your dress right sides together, and you're gonna sew what I believe is another 1/4 of an inch, because that way you're sort of encapsulating the raw edges. So in the inside, it's just gonna look like a little fold of fabric, but without any loose thread. So it's been 24 hours since the last clips. I let it rest for 24 hours just to let it drape if it needed to and stretch if it needed to, but it didn't. It maintained its hem. I have it here on the table. It's all even. So that just means that we are ready to hem it, try it on. I mean, I already tried it on, I know it fits, so I'm just going to hem it, take some pictures, and that's gonna be that. So let's see how it looks. So conclusions, the Sicily dress, it's very easy to sew. If you have experience, probably in a day you can make it. It's so nice, so flowy. Give it a try.